Greetings, everyone. So Joe Biden has done something. And I think the thing he did isn't shocking anymore to us. I think most people would just be saying, oh, so what else is new? But I thought I would mention it just in case you missed this story. Joe Biden decided to award a former Planned Parenthood leader with the Medal of Freedom. So if we take a look at the article, President Joe Biden awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the country. That's in the USA, obviously. To Cecile Richards, I believe that's how you pronounce her first name, an abortion activist who was the president of Planned Parenthood for more than a decade. Although the Medal of Freedom is often awarded in a public ceremony, the president gave the medal to Richards in a private ceremony on Wednesday, the 20th of November, that also was his birthday. So he decided to give somebody a gift on his birthday, on his 82nd birthday. And that person that he gave a gift to was the former leader of Planned Parenthood. He then put up a message on his social media saying, with absolute courage, Richards fearlessly leads us forward to be the America we say we are, a nation of freedom. Through her work to lift up the dignity of workers, defend and advance women's reproductive rights and equality, and mobilize Americans to exercise their power to vote, she has carved an inspiring legacy. Cecile Richards, of course, reposted this and thanked Joe Biden and his wife for everything they've done to support women's health and rights. Now, just to put into a little bit more perspective of the things that were going on under the leadership of Cecile Richards, it says she was the president of Planned Parenthood from 2006 until 2018. The number of abortions performed by Planned Parenthood increased by more than 10% during her tenure. Now, according to the article, there were more or less 300,000 abortions being committed per year under her leadership. She was in charge for 10 years, so that would amount to 3 million abortions. A figure that would make King Herod look like a saint. And there we see Joe Biden proudly standing next to her. Joe Biden, the Catholic president of the USA still. He's still the president, at least at the time of making this video, he's still the president, but he's on his way out. There he is, kind of holding Cecile with both hands. She doesn't look that well in that picture. I did actually read that in the middle of last year she was diagnosed with brain cancer. So, look, I don't ever wish any horrible illnesses on anyone, no matter who they are. But I do realize that quite a lot of people are going to find it very difficult to find sympathy for her, assuming she still has this. I'm not really very knowledgeable in the medical field. I don't know whether brain cancer is something you can cure, or whether once you get it, that pretty much is just then a countdown to the end of your life. But either way, she kind of looks a little bit odd the way she's standing in that photo. I don't know whether that's related to this or not, or maybe that's just how the photo turned out. It's not really her that I want to talk about, it's Joe Biden. The guy is finishing his presidency. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that he has stated in the past that he is personally against abortion, but he was explaining in some way that he can't let his personal beliefs supersede a woman's right to make that decision about her own body. But if he is personally against abortion, although he still believes there should be a law where women can have one if they wish to, then why is he bothering to give an award to a former leader of Planned Parenthood? He doesn't have to do that. That's got nothing to do with law. If he thinks, for whatever stupid reason, that there should be a law that women should be permitted to have an abortion, that's one thing. He's essentially saying no matter what he himself believes, women should have that right. But if he's actually going out of his way to give an award to a woman who was in charge of an abortion organization that under her tenure was responsible for the killing of millions of babies, that's crazy. It has been rumored quite a few times that Joe Biden personally would not do certain things, but he's receiving pressure from the Democrats to do certain things. So some of the things he has done have been through pressure, and he's had to do them, and he's had to agree to them. But I'm pretty sure he has no need to bow to pressure now, because he's not fighting to become the president again for a second term. He's on the way out. He hasn't got that much time left as president. He doesn't need to be doing anything now that he doesn't want to do. So this would almost suggest that this is something he wanted to do, to give this Freedom Award to this woman. And it takes me to a wider point about how we really just cannot trust something or someone just because it's Catholic. Like, we can't trust Joe Biden just because he's a Catholic president. We can't necessarily trust Catholic media just because it's Catholic. We can't trust Catholic schools even just because they're Catholic. In fact, here is a clip of Father Don Calloway talking about this very thing. Now, it's one of those clips where they've taken out background noise, so you don't get to listen to the audience reacting. That's a bit odd, because then it seems like he's in a room on his own saying this. He isn't, but that's just how they've edited it. Anyway, here he is talking about how if he was a father, a physical father of a child, rather than a spiritual father, he would be concerned about taking his son even to a Catholic school.
Had God called me in my conversion to the vocation to be a husband and a father, I can tell you right now, there is no way that I would have sent my children to a secular school, that's for sure. Because if my son came home from a secular school one day with blue hair, wearing a bra, identifying as a turtle, and wanting to join the girls' sports team, we're moving to Idaho. This woke madness is driving me nuts, my friends. We've lost our minds. It's absolutely crazy out there right now. And so, in my vocation as a priest, I don't take any delight in saying this, trust me, but I have to say, I'm not even sure that I would send my children to the vast majority of Catholic schools. And there are good ones out there. I've seen them, I've been there, but it's a handful. As I've been invited to speak at Catholic high schools and such, oftentimes when I go in, it's a wasteland. What I see and I observe, especially from the faculty, the staff, the administration, spiritually dead, lukewarm, not passing on the deposit of faith, not teaching these children about virtue and holiness and sanctification and about the saints, about Our Lady and the great Saint Joseph. No. Oftentimes, the people on the faculty and the staff, they're not even Catholic. Sometimes they teach in the religion, or if they have a theology department, the theology department. And it's a train wreck. I've seen it. I have friends, many, who have graduated from great Catholic universities, the few that there are, and they've gone to places to teach in these schools, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
So that's Father Don Calloway there. I remember reading a book called Goodbye Good Men that was about the problem with seminaries in the USA in the 20th century and how so many of them had been essentially infiltrated and were just teaching complete heresy. And that's another area where people have to watch out. If somebody wants to become a priest and they want to go to a seminary, they need to make sure that it's a Catholic seminary that isn't teaching heresy or that isn't promoting deviant sexual behavior, as many of them seem to be doing. Many of them are havens for heresy, and many of them are breeding grounds to what Pope Francis controversially referred to as faggotry. I think many people in the Catholic Church have the same feeling about Joe Biden as they do about Pope Francis. They know Joe Biden is going, and they are absolutely just waiting for him to leave now. And I think they feel the same way about Pope Francis. They're just waiting for him to leave. Or to put it more bluntly, they're waiting for him to die, because they just don't like what he's doing. I'm not as much of a critic as Pope Francis as some people who just absolutely loathe him, but I do also recognize that he has done a number of things that are very ambiguous, to put it gently, and there have been too many of these instances where he has said something or done something, such as putting various atheists and pro-abortion advocates on Catholic committees, for it to be a coincidence. But he cannot change the church teaching. He cannot change the catechism of the Catholic Church. Pope Francis could theoretically do what Joe Biden has done and give a pro-abortion advocate a freedom prize and praise them and say that they're amazing and the work they've done for women's reproductive rights is amazing. He could do that, and it still wouldn't change the church teaching, because that's something he can't do. It's really sad to me, the situation with Joe Biden. Sometimes I feel like in his heart, Joe Biden does believe, and he does say that he prays the rosary regularly and he attends church, but I can't understand why he doesn't understand that the church teachings are sacred, that you can't just say, oh well, you disagree with this or that, because then you're protesting against Mother Church. You're protesting against your own mother in some sense. You're protesting against God as well, obviously. So if you're a Catholic, that means you accept the church teachings. If you do not, then you are not a Catholic. You may as well be a Protestant because you feel the church is making errors in certain areas and you know better, so you're going to go off and join some other church that was founded since the Reformation. Anyway, before I end the video, I just want to mention to UK Catholics, if you're watching this video before the 29th of November and you haven't done so, do contact your local MP and do please ask them to attend Parliament on the 29th of November and to vote against the end of life legislation that they are trying to bring in that essentially would permit assisted suicide. Because I think what they're really doing is they're giving doctors a license to kill. This isn't about saying to people, oh, you have a right to end your life if you wish to. It's your choice. You're not going to be pressured to do it. This is actually about giving doctors permission to be able to kill someone. Because in countries where this is permissible, doctors are offering it as a healthcare option, just like they offer abortion as a healthcare option. Here you go, you can kill this baby perhaps if you wish to. To somebody who's suffering, they say, well, there's this treatment we could do, or perhaps you'd like us to end your life. That might be easier. You won't have to suffer anymore. So it's really important that this doesn't get through. Anyway, folks, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching the video. Have a blessed day.